Mike is hot now, so thank you for joining us. We are Brew Minds. I'm Jesse.
I'm Tom.
And we're live here at Jungle Gyms, up in the OG Jungle Gyms, up in Fairfield, here in the beer and wine department. And we're talking with Ferdinand from Beer and Wine, and Jared, who just does a little bit of everything. He's the magic man about town. But we're here to talk about the Barrel-Aged Beerfest tonight, which is one of my favorite festivals here in town. I think you guys have been doing it right, since its inception. So, can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect this year? Maybe some new things, or what's changed with the festival for this year?
We're just trying to always be bigger and better. We're going to have over 100 barrel-aged beers. We're going to have 44 different breweries. There's not always, but quite often a late edition, so it might even have 45, 46 by the end of it. So
I was just going to ask, there's always you've got the list that you put out early, and then there's always some special tweaks and stuff.
Adding stuff on. Somebody's like, hey, I found this. Do you want this? Yes, I've been asking for it for 3 months. Yes, that's a perfect example of it. Just last week, Jason hit me up with hey, can I have this and this? Yes, please. No problem having a good, big, barrel-aged barley wine there. So
2 of them, in fact.
Speaking of a man who loves barley wines, Dan Eben, who is soon to open Swine City, also over here in Fairfield, wants to know if we can set aside an auto siphon for him. Since we're here in the homebrew section.
Yes, we can. There's one right there. Peepaw's here. We can get him to grab it and bring it in tomorrow.
So Dan, if you're still watching, just come on over. They'll have you taken care of. But so how long have you guys been doing the festival now?
This 4th or 5th?
I believe this is the 5th year. So,
and it started out as pretty small,
yes,
kind of narrow view tasting of what barrel-aged beer was at that point. And obviously, things have taken off since then, and we're seeing a lot more variety, a lot of different styles of barrel-aged beers.
Was it just a tasting the first year, or was it like a big event like this now?
Well, it was a tasting that grew bigger than expected.
We'll call it something in between.
I think I remember that, because I don't remember 5 years of it, but I remember a smaller barrel-aged tasting.
Right, and then for a couple years we went to 2 nights, and then we were just kind of spreading ourselves thin. And
so it is just one night now?
It's just one night, so it'll just be Saturday. Last year was the first year was just the one night. Back down to the one night. Lines moved quickly. There wasn't, your really big beers like CVS. There's going to be a line there all night. There's nothing around that. So
that's the thing. I've always, having gone to a bunch of different festivals here in town, something I've always appreciated about your guys' events, even with ones as big as the Cheese Fest, which I'm also very, very excited for.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I love how even though you've got a ton of stuff going on, it still feels really intimate, and you're not just a wash and all these options and just kind of the crush of people. You can feel the Oscar Event Center, but it still feels like you can kind of get your way around and experience what you want. And I've always appreciated that. How have you guys tried to kind of, I guess, create that atmosphere for every year? Because you could have blown it way up and gone really big, but I think you might have lost something. So what's kind of
right? Well, one of the big things is we get people that know about the beers. I'm not going to say that every brewer from every brewing company is going to be here, because that would be a bold-faced lie. But it's people that sell the beer, it's people that's passionate about the beer. There's no volunteer sign-up list hey, you could pour and then for an hour and a half and then participate for an hour and a half. We make sure that whoever's pouring the beer knows about the beer. So there's lots of information with that, instead of it just being all right, what do you have? The IPA, the thing I can't pronounce very well, and this weird English thing.
You guys have a lot of brewers there, actually. And when I say brewers, I'm not talking brewery reps. There's those too, but you guys actually get the brewers.
We try to get the brewers as much as possible. It doesn't happen all the time, but people that work for them, people that are on the sales force, we'll also have, brewery reps as well, not just our sales reps and our sales reps and merchandisers. At least it's people that know about the beer, can talk about the beer. And for the most part, we want to be passionate about it. If they're kind of wishy-washy about trying to get into it, it's all right, you've fallen down on the list of what we want to put in.
Right.
So,
well, I think it's kind of to your point, and to piggyback off of what our festivals kind of in general are meant to be extensions of what we do in the store every day. So you're going to walk around the store and, hopefully 9 times out of 10 you're going to find somebody working in whatever department that you happen to wander into, and they're going to be knowledgeable and passionate and know what's going on. And the festivals and the events that we put on, doesn't matter if it's a pint night, doesn't matter if it's the biggest thing we have going, like Big Cheese or whatever. We want that passion and excitement and knowledge to translate, because it's a family-owned and operated business. It's just a big mom and pop store, and a lot of people don't realize that. That's what our events are meant to. Yeah, very, very big mom and pop stores, like the mom and pop stores. But like
What's the weirdest animatronics you've ever seen?
Yeah. Can you name other? Or any other mom and pop stores have the animatronics?
Or a monorail.
Or a monorail. Not to brag, but we have a monorail.
Monorail.
Yeah, so I think the beer events especially, like, we're so passionate and excited about craft beer, the shows, the events, the people that are there, they have to represent that too.
Something I've always wondered, do you guys cap tickets? Because it always feels like there's plenty of space and not an insane number of people. Whereas like Winter Beer Fest sometimes, or Matthews Bonanza is like, oh my god, there's way too many people here.
Have we hit our cap ever? Not quite. If we get to that point, we will cap it, and it's always that day of sales that we get kind of like.
We don't know.
And we keep a printed amount of tickets known, so that's why you don't just print something off on your printer. We mail you the ticket, because once we're at that point, it's like, sorry, we're done.
Right.
Like,
We do all of this stuff in house, like all of it. I mean, so we have to. We're the ones kind of keeping an eye on all of that stuff. So
What are ticket prices at right now?
Well, since you went live, we've gone, if you come in, we couldn't get it set up with our computer, with our internet system to have it be online. But if you come in between now and Friday at close, so Friday at 10, and mention Brew Minds, you will get $20 off the ticket. You will get a $40 ticket, which price on January 2nd went up to $60. So if you watch this and you come in, you're getting a third of the price off. So.
Hey, you heard it here first. You don't just get a headache from listening to Brew Minds. Awesome, get a discount to things. So don't say we never did nothing for you.
It finally paid off, guys. Finally, you did it.
Months of videos. And
Yeah.
you get $20
No, that's a great deal too. Like, on everything you get to try now. There's also you guys are gonna have like little foods and stuff for people to eat too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there'll be Cervati pretzels.
So good.
George from Chili Rocks will be cooking food upstairs, and that's going to be, like, he's promoted himself. And Hoboken Eddie will be up there. Both of those make fantastic foods, wonderful sauces that are available in the store, of course. If you ever came in and had either one of them sampling, absolutely fantastic food. Whenever I see Hoboken Eddie, I'm like,
What you got?
Notice me. Yes, I want lunch. Yes, I want lunch. Like so. And George has a food truck that travels around from time to time. I'm not sure everywhere he goes, but he does. And then when we do the, he's always part of the Fall Smash with the food trucks outside,
Nice.
and he makes a killer Cincinnati style chili dog wrapped in a burrito and deep fried.
Yeah, deep
Like,
fried cheese cone. This is like trademark.
Maybe
won't
not
say
the
no to
healthiest,
that.
but
No,
sounds
no,
delicious.
yeah.
Hey, we're coming to a beer fest.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, healthiness is out the
Cheese
window.
fest,
I mean,
Might as well just throw the cigars in there too.
Right.
Like we've covered everything.
And that stuff comes with your ticket. We're not actually like selling any food there, so you can walk up, just grab what you want.
And there'll be bottles of water
Yeah.
all around in little stations that you can just grab them out. So.
And they're the giant Cervati soft pretzels.
Yeah,
which are
yeah,
the
the
real
ribs.
thing.
on the necklace. Yes.
Especially when you're drinking, like just to walk around and take a bite out, it's so good.
They
No.
will run out, so grab them as you come in.
Right.
So
Are you guys partnering with like Uber or Lyft or anything to for everybody to get home?
We'll have numbers and stuff available when you get there, so there will be ride services, and obviously we'll reach out to Lyft and Uber and please send people to this
Fairfield
area
taxi,
because honestly nobody Ubers or Lyfts in Fairfield. It's just
There
not
is at least one
an untold
person.
one
per-
I've
yeah,
Ubered
yeah,
home
one
from
person.
Fairfield to Monroe before.
There's one person there. Yeah, that one. Good for them.
Yes.
It's an
It was
untapped market.
expensive.
Yeah.
Probably Kat Finn. Kat, if you're listening, she's around here somewhere.
So, well,
Something. Speaking of kind of the intimacy of the event and everything, what is kind of the Barrel-Aged Beerfest kind of geared toward? Because when I first started going to it and I was kind of new to beer, I felt very welcome at it. But even now, as kind of someone who's kind of gotten into the industry, it's still like welcoming and enjoyable from both like a new perspective and an old perspective. So what kind of like, demo are you guys going for to create that sort of atmosphere?
Kind of, that's part of the reason why we bring in people that know what the beer is, because it's really for everybody. There'll be people that come in that are going after the whales, people that are like, all right, I'm not spending $25 on a bottle of beer, but I will spend $50 or $60 to go to a festival and get to try these and see what we like. It's always bourbon heavy because bourbon barrels are used once.
Right.
Tequila barrels, people will use them until they fall apart. Wine barrels will be used a few times. I don't know the exact number, but bourbon barrels are only used once, so you find those more often than not.
And I mean, they're incredibly popular right now for beer drinkers. So.
Correct. So, but like the June, which you really enjoy,
Right.
but the watershed barrels, the gin barrels for that beer is absolutely fantastic, and I think it's approachable for anybody. Whether you're a Bud Light drinker or they like gin and tonic, you're going to please both of those people with that beer.
I think this is a good show to introduce people to sours too.
Yes.
I mean,
Right, I
that's
was gonna say, 'cause
such
it's
a
not
cool.
just stouts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
you think Barrel-Aged Beerfest, you think
That's
stouts.
a lot of. We got both of us have brought a list of things that we're really excited for. Sours.
The last
and-
2 years I've been
and
trying to
the-
tell people get sours, and it's, to be completely honest here, by the end of the night, I'm slurring a little bit, I might be stumbling a little bit, and people are like, what should I try, and I start rifling off these sours, and they're like, why? Like, go find out.
But
Go
also,
try them.
after 3 or 4 bourbon barrel stouts, guess what? They all taste like bourbon barrel stouts.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Start
like,
cutting it with
this
something.
one tastes like the last two, but hey, guess what? I'm going to go with sour now,
Cleanse
completely
my
reset my
palate.
palate,
Yep.
get back
Wonderful.
in there and try some more stouts.
Yes,
Now,
definitely.
along with that, how do you kind of find the balance between getting those beers, that, like the beer, I'll just call them the whale hunters.
CBS. Just say CBS.
Yeah,
It's
CBS.
okay.
Like between like the beers that the beer hunters are going after, and a lot of the stuff it's a little easier to get. So where does that kind of mix come into play? Like how hard is it to kind of dial in your beer list?
There's availability, so and then me being able to talk my boss into holding some of them back.
I was wondering that.
Let's go ahead and hold this one back for a little bit. I talked to some of the distributors, like, hey, you promised me this number of Big Bad Baptist Triple Barrel. I want all but one case sent now. I want the last case sent so it can't hit the floor. So that it's coming in for this event, not. And Premium's wonderful about doing stuff like that. Some of the other people, like, no, if somebody else will snatch it, you got to bring it in. But I have this wonderful room back there that is temperature controlled and has tons of shelf space going up in the air, so I can put stuff up, and none of the beer guys, other beer guys, will see it. And oh yeah, somebody asked for this. I'm grabbing it out of the bag.
Like, I think that's we're cognizant of
ruined your plan.
we're cognizant of what we're putting together throughout the entire year. It's not just it's 3 months before the show. We got to start figuring this out. Like, we're paying attention. We know the show is coming up, so we're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna hold that back. We're gonna hold that back, and we're gonna make it like that kind of experience for people when they come in. So maybe they missed it when we brought it in initially. It was on the shelf.
Right.
They're gonna have a chance.
Or
to-
it was like CBS and very limited.
Exactly,
On the
yeah,
raffle. You
yeah.
didn't get on the raffle,
Yeah,
and now it's
yeah.
your chance to come in and try 4
exactly,
ounces of it. Sure,
exactly.
you're not gonna bomber, but
Yeah.
Now-
Speaking of what's going to be available, Chris Stevens of Queen City Fresh says, "For the love of God, please have KMF again."
Oh,
Is it any
Sam
chance
Adams'
that-
Cosmic Motherfucker?
Yeah.
That stuff is so good.
I don't know when the last time
It
they
wasn't
did
on the
it.
list.
I'll reach out to my rep.
I don't think they've released it straight in a year or two.
Yeah, the last time
It's
it was
always
a little
blended.
yeah.
Well, Chris, if you're paying attention, they're going to work on that for you. We'll see what
No
we can
guarantees.
make happen.
We're gonna try.
No guarantees.
You mentioned cases, and that's something that struck me the first time I came, and it's always struck me. What is the blend between cases and kegs? Because you think Beerfest, it's all kegs, but you guys have a lot of bottles too.
Preferred method is bottles because we have, which most of your barrel aged stuff, some of it does come in half barrels, but quarter barrels or 6 barrels. But then if it doesn't sell out,
You now have.
now I have all this stuff in my cooler and I'm running through it, and there's 12 pints left. We're a
really
mom and
put
pop
that
show.
on the bar.
We don't want to get rid of it anyway. So
We've only had that bar down here for a year and a half or two now. Not nearly as long as the festival's been going on. 4? Really?
4?
Okay.
So it was
You guys
much
like some
smaller.
night nights, man.
It was much smaller.
No, I mean-
For a long time, it was 16 taps. Last year at Thanksgiving Eve, we finally got the other 16. We turned our kegerator into 3, so which we don't do samples off the kegerator because we're pouring more than that.
Now, if people want to look and see what they kind of maybe mark off some of their favorites or anything, you guys do have a list on tap right now.
Yeah, so it's available on tap, but you can also go to junglefest.com and you can go to the beer bash page, and the list is actually there. It's not super user friendly. Our website is super archaic, but it's there. You can look at it there, and then if you go to the website, there's links to Untapped there as well.
Yeah.
So you can find it on the app. You can find it on Facebook. I think we have Untapped tabs on Facebook as well. I mean, it's all.
Every one of our festivals, you either get a booklet, depending on how big it is, or a sheet that'll go, and we'll have the 5 barrels on there for you to rate it, how much you liked it.
I love that you added the tasting notes on there too. I think that's something that for a while now I've been talking a lot about beer education, and I think that's so important to people. Like, it's not just like, do you like it or dislike it? Like, tell me why.
Right.
Like, and then you start looking at trends, and then that will help you be a better beer consumer and get like the good stuff here that you can find in Jungle Gyms.
I like Beer Bash for that reason too. It's a really cool educational experience just all around because of the people that we're bringing into the door and everybody involved. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I've had my experiences at a Beer Bash, so I've gotten a little loopy, but even with sampling, pretty much all the beers, I still felt like I was able to stay collected, pace yourself, and kind of work through everything. So you're not going to run out of time. You will be able to sample, a decent amount of the beers and be able to get your good experience.
How long is it total?
2.5 hours. But that's good advice. Pace yourself, especially at this show. Because you're talking, double-digit, a lot of double-digit ABVs.
And
so
make sure your pretzel necklace game is strong.
Exactly, yeah.
Bring your kind bar in your pocket. Nothing but nuts and protein.
So I'm sure you guys are kind of already, even though like it's right in front of us, coming up next week, you're already looking forward to next year. Are there anything you can kind of tell us? Any maybe big surprises? Maybe tease out? Or...
I think that look was like, dude, I'm not looking past next Saturday. There's next Saturday, there's a day off.
Actually, after next Saturday, it goes right into Hop Slam. So
we're doing the Hop Slam release on Sunday.
Which, if you can look closely, you can see release date. It's January 14th.
Get a hotel room right up the street. Get drunk with us at night. Come kill your hangover here. So.
But. So, are there any particular beers that you are super excited for as a beer drinker?
I love Prairie. I absolutely love. Yes. I'm a huge fan of Hoppin' Frog. I haven't got to try the Listerman. I had the Freedom Toast, but I haven't had the barley wine. So
I love that they called it life.
Right.
I mean,
barley wine is life.
That's great.
Next time BIL, man.
I mean, and the Bills are in the playoff too. So I mean.
Oh man. Well, we've Tom and I have got some lists here. We were looking over your list earlier, and just based on what was kind of listed there, I think Tom, if you want to kick us off with your top 5.
Jesse had the idea of us going through and picking our top 5 beers that we're most excited to have or have again, or would recommend to people to have. And I gotta say, first and foremost, Fig Leaf BA Black Solstice. I will fully admit to being a Fig Leaf fanboy. I love those guys. I've known them for years. But BA Black Solstice is legitimately one of the best, if not the best, barrel-aged stout to come out of Cincinnati. For a straight barrel-aged stout without any adjuncts or coffee or vanilla or cayenne or walnuts or who the hell knows what. It's just a damn good barrel-aged stout. And it actually won the barrel-aged stout category at the King of Ohio competition that I did back in December. It wasn't massively available, so it's nice that you're still going to get a chance to try it, because I think most of the bottles may be gone.
So
This review paid for and brought to you by Fig Leaf Brewing Company.
Yes, Hunter owes me a pint, although I probably owe him many more. And then next up was 50 West, BA 10 and 2. There are a lot of stouts here, like we've been saying all night, there's a lot of stouts. 10 and 2, fantastic barley wine. I don't remember how many medals 10 and 2 has won anymore, but BA Tennessee won quite a few, right?
Yes, for a few days they were reigning double gold medal winner because the World Beer Fest hadn't happened, but they were last year's World Beer Fest, and I didn't follow up to see if they won it again, but they won World Beer Fest last year, and then they won Great American Beer Fest. So they were double main competition gold medal winners. So definitely check that one out.
Yeah.
It took a lot of back and forth with me and the guys at 50 West for them to give us another case for this festival. But it worked out very well. We have that. We have the Ghost to Imogene as well.
Right.
So
And that's this
Really
most recent
earned those
release from
bottles.
Black
Yes.
Friday. And then next up again, trying to break up the stouts, I said Matry June. That's a fantastic beer. It's very unique and different with the gin barrels and the juniper and stuff in there. Very easy drinking and light and refreshing, and will really help out after you've had CBS and Big Bad Baptista and Triple Barrel Bastard and all these things. And then I wanted to keep it local, and so Listerman Freedom Toast. I've not actually had that one myself yet. I don't know if it would actually be a very me beer, but it did win the specialty category at the King of Ohio Stout competition. And everything I've heard from people said it's freaking amazing. So, and that's, one of those adjunct heavy stouts, so that'll give you some different flavors from all the other just stouts. And I wanted to keep it local. I'm a Cincinnati guy, we're a Cincinnati blog, but I gotta say Epic Big Bad Baptist. Just Big Bad Baptist, not Baptista, not Triple Barrel. People forget about Big Bad Baptist. It's one of the best barrel-aged stouts that sits on shelves and no one cares. So while there's a line for Baptista and there's a line for Triple Barrel, just step to the left and get yourself some Big Bad Baptist and then get back in line for the Baptista. So those are my 5.
For me, I have to apologize to all my local guys. I kind of went, went
didn't
out of
pick
the
a single
region.
local beer,
I
did
did
you?
not pick a single local beer.
Well, I'm glad I picked so many. I got to balance that a little bit.
I have to admit, I got a little selfish, and I love my sours and I love my Belgians, and I think this will be well represented. I've always loved Epic's Brainless series, like Brainless on Cherries, Brainless on this and that. I would only have been able to have Brainless on Peaches once. Loved it. I think peach is such a hard fruit to deal with in beer.
Right.
I've seen it done very, very well. Only a few times. Oftentimes, like you're either getting like a syrup, or it's get that like fake kind of peach gummy
that
flavor.
essence, that
just
goes
doesn't come
over
at
your
all.
mouth and-
Brainless on Peaches just killed it. And then Green Flash's Divine Sauvage Belgian Triple, just a really solid triple. Just blew me out of the park. Boulevard Brewing, this is a kind of a callback to where I grew up. I went to college in Iowa. Boulevard is all over there. It's the Bourbon Barrel Quad is just solid. Crooked Stave, they're just such an interesting brewery because like they got a lot of hate coming out. This is the thing. A lot of Coloradoans were not very happy with Crooked Stave because they were using other breweries' wort and then barrel aging it, and then some people out in Colorado apparently were not cool with that.
So they were
I
doing
don't
something
know.
like most Belgians do?
I know. I just
like the
it never
majority
made any
of
sense
Belgian
to me,
gooses and
but
stuff are not actually.
I think there might have been a personality issue there with the owner of Krypton State as well. I can't comment on that, but the an apricot Brett, like can't go wrong with that.
Right.
Again, there's a fruit sour thing here, and then just to kind of try something different. I've never had it. I'm very interested to try it, but I've always been happy with the Anderson Valley Stouts. The salted caramel bourbon barrel-aged porter. I've never had it. Thought I'd give it a try. It just sounds really interesting to me, so I'm hoping
It's actually really good.
excellent. Well, if Ferdinand's backing it, then it's got to be good for me. So I am curious, how many of these beers? Something that I love about your guys' festivals as well is that a lot of what your guys are putting on, you can also like run down and go pick it up. So
Yeah, I
about
remember
how
that in years
much?
past. People would try some beer, like, oh, you can get that downstairs. Okay, as soon as this is over. And seriously, there have been years where as soon as it ends, like it wraps up at 9 or whatever, and then the tasting bar's packed, and the people are going through all the aisles grabbing bottles, like. So yeah, what Jesse was saying, how many beers are going to be available downstairs afterwards?
Close to 50%, not all of them. Anyone that's like Tass is going to be draft only. There's going to be probably 15 kegs, and we won't have anything of it down here. The Baptista series, we held on to it. CBS, we held on to it. Like I said, about waiting for premium to send it in, but everything was sent. We went through it earlier, so they're not hanging on anymore.
Will they be marked on the handout they give out, what's available downstairs and what's not?
It would be a good idea, but the problem is that people could buy. Some people are going to come in and buy stuff before.
Right. Who knows if it'll sell out
So
that day?
yeah, it's going to be some of the stuff's going to be put out early in the week. Like a lot of the listing and stuff, they sent us 2 cases of. So we're going to have a case on the floor plus a case upstairs.
Well, I think the tip here then, hold on to your tasting book, take it downstairs with you, and then like just look at your list, see what you love, and start looking.
If you're waiting on your Uber, they tell you it's going to be 20 minutes. You're going to have 20 minutes of shopping time available. Please try not to break anything in the store. Yeah.
Can't go wrong there. Well, I'm gonna bring up the event details here real quick. Jared, if you kind of want to go over what's going on, like
show starts at 7, ends at 9:30. It's at the Oscar Event Center in Fairfield at the Jungle Gyms Fairfield. Just upstairs, yeah. And like we said earlier, if you come and get a ticket at the store before we close tomorrow night, you're going to get $20 off, which is a great deal. Just
mention Brew Minds.
Mention Brew Minds. Just walk up to the tasting bar, and you'll be all set. Ferdinand mentioned there's going to be over 100 beers. I think we're at like 104 now.
And you guys have non-drinker tickets.
We do have non-drinker tickets as well. Those are $15, and that means you can come in, hang out. There's coffee, soda, water. You can try the food and stuff.
They get the pretzels. And
Yeah. They get all the good stuff except for the beer. And honestly, it's just a really cool show to come and hang out and just socialize and kind of be a part of it,
and watch your husband or your wife.
Exactly, but keep a very close eye on everyone. Yeah, the people watching is astounding. And it's 2.5 hour show. It's a short event.
And you get to keep your glass.
Keep your glass. These are really nice glass. We got a new logo, hand-drawn logo this year. Our graphic designer Beth just knocked it out of the park. She really revamped it and just gave it like a really cool refresh. We're excited about the show. It's our first event of the year, so we want to do it right and make sure everybody walks out of here happy.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you for having us on. We were super psyched for the event, and we look forward to it every year. But thanks for bringing us by, letting us have a beer with you guys, and learning all about the show.
Thanks for coming and talking with us, man. We appreciate it.
No problem. All right, for all of you that's home, don't forget, come in by the end of Friday. Say that you saw Brew Minds and get yourself a really nice discount on tickets. And if you haven't already, like our Facebook page.
And for anybody who's still hanging out and watching this, January 16th, we're going to be live at Brink. We're going to have a fantastic panel of women in the beer industry. Jesse and I are going to have fucking nothing to do with it. We're going to set up the camera in the feed. We're going to sit down and enjoy some Brink beers. And we're just going to let these wonderful women talk about whatever the hell they want. This has been a passion project of mine for a couple of years, so I'm very happy to see it happen. That's January 16th at Brink, and we'll have lots of more information out on our blog and Twitter.
And don't forget about Hop Slam on the 14th.
Yes, Hype Slam. Sorry.
You just cut it off. See you, everyone. Cheers.